Opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of the staff, management, sponsors of this radio station, or those who benefit from your loss whenever you hear the sound shik-shing. I'll tell you, I've got an answer for shik-shing. It's called shik-shuck. By the way, I have to, and by the way, I will be addressing the shik-shing versus the shik-shuck, because I'm not the only one who's thinking this way. I mean, we've heard Gerald Celente screaming about the possibility of this being the summer of unrest. We've heard about him stating that we are going to see kidnappings. We're going to see presidents and CEOs of large corporations having to pay the ultimate price because of what they've done. And this is being echoed by the words of Max Kaiser. And we're going to be talking about that in the third hour. And before we get Chapman on there, I just wanted to underline what you were just saying before we went to the break, Joyce, about Osama bin Laden being found not guilty in a foreign court. You couple that with a Danish scientist's research after 18 months of research and analyzation of the dust from the World Trade Center. They found active thermite material in the dust, and this means it's not a smoking gun. This is a loaded gun. This means that there were absolutely, irrefutably, undeniably, positively explosives used to bring down the towers. Now, you're not hearing that here in the mainstream media here in this country, but the whole flaming world knows now. So there's more to come on this. All right, Joyce, I just wanted to throw that in there.
Okay, now we're going to move on to our guest today. We have on Mondays Bob Chapman with us. And as long as we have this financial flux situation, we want to have him here to help us work our way through it. He is the executive editor of the International Forecaster newsletter. You can get it in hard copy, or you can get an email version of it, and you can get a complimentary copy by calling 877-479-8178 or go to theinternationalforecaster.com. And I want to again welcome you in this real interesting time again. Bob Chapman, thank you for joining us on the Power Hour today.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad to be here again and in the midst of all this psychological warfare.
Ooh, good point. Psychological warfare from every direction. Is it real or is it Memorex? Now, what do you? I got to get your take on this. What do you think is happening
in the swine flu situation? Well, first of all, you can't put 4 strains together from 4 different parts of the world and have it naturally mutate into this so-called new swine flu. So it was manufactured in some laboratory somewhere, probably at Fort Detrick. And so the disease itself is something created by an element of the United States government. Second of all, you cannot have an epidemic spread as quickly as the one that you're watching. They're popping up in Spain and France and Scotland and in different places in the United States.
Correct.
And the supposed epicenter is Mexico City. They've got 30 million people there, and I guess they figure, well, they can lose a few and not worry about it. And so this incident has been created by the United States government and others. I think the proof of what they're up to will be shown to us over the next 2 to 3 weeks. If this thing dies out in 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, it's a trial run. Just to see what the response of the public is. More importantly, it's to get the public's mind off in a different direction. People aren't too concerned about other things when they think they might die of a flu in a very near future. And so they forget about the manipulation and the destruction of our financial and economic system in the entire world, and whether the United States and Israel are going to invade Pakistan and Iran. And so it's an exercise in Psy war.
You know, I think you're so right on this, and I think there are a lot of people that didn't do their due diligence, that they wanted the city, county, state governments to get ready, and now they're going to use this as, see, we told you to get ready, we told you to get ready. Now maybe this will be the impetus for them to get the momentum going. However, it could also be a trial run, as you say, just to scare people. It could get everybody's attention off the good cop, bad cop torture issue, off the financial issue. You're right. I mean, there's any number of things it could be. What I don't think it is a combination of human, bird, and pig flu. And as one of our listeners emailed me, he calls it the when pigs fly flu, which I think is really appropriate. We ought to refer to that as a when pigs fly flu rather than the swine flu. But what happened overnight on the markets? I noticed yesterday there started to be some changes in the markets as a result of this information, especially in Hong Kong, because they've had an experience with this. Just bring us up to date, because we haven't talked about the markets, the bank closures last Friday, and where the markets are going to be today.
Well, the bank closures will get larger and larger. There were 4. And as we go through the year and then through next year, there'll be more and more each weekend. They're taking them piecemeal. They're arbitrary. Bank A has the same problems as Bank B. Bank A gets taken under and Bank B doesn't. And so it's who they want to stay in business and for the time being, and who they want out of business for the time being. And so I think that at least a couple of thousand banks out of 8,000 are going to go down. It could be a lot more than that. And so they're trying to work them off in the FDIC Friday night financial follies, as we call it. Mm-hmm. And we got the information a little bit late, and we weren't able to put it in Saturday's issue, but it'll be in the next issue. And it's general information if you were watching over the weekend. I can promise you won't see anything from Monday on about it because they black it out of the news. And as far as the markets are concerned, early this morning at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time to 4 o'clock, that's when we start watching the markets. The Dow was down, along with the S&P and NASDAQ equivalents of approximately 130 to 140 points. So that would bear out what you said, that there's concern. But maybe it's not concern about the swine flu. Maybe the market was going to come down anyway. It's hard to say. But what we do know is about 2 hours before the market opens, which is in about 15 minutes, they tried to take the Dow up, and they were unsuccessful. They attacked all of the currencies, took them all down. They took the commodities down. Earlier they had oil down $2.55. And so they then, at about an hour ago, when the COMEX opened and gold had been earlier just about even, they took it down $8. It's moving back upward again. Silver's about even, but silver had been up 8 cents. So what the United States government is doing is that they're in the market again. They're trying to keep the Dow up, and they're trying to put other things which are an antithesis to the market. They try to keep them down: gold, silver, commodities, currencies. Weakening them supposedly will make the market perhaps go higher. And so we have a typical manipulation.
I think that's a major position that they're taking, and I think it's going to hurt the United States and further create some problems for our industry here. What we have left
Joyce,
of it.
Is it not true that this disease is not spread from the meat of the pig?
Well, they're saying eat pork. Don't worry about it. Just cook it real well. Eat pork. I mean, it's incredible.
So why are they banning it in Russia and other places from the United States and Mexico?
Exactly. What do they know that we should be paying attention to?
No, I don't think they know anything. I think they're trying to deepen the crisis by doing this.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I think I can't think of any other explanation. because swine flu is not caused by the meat of pigs. It's caused by a combination of factors which have been dreamed up in one of the biological warfare facilities of the United States government. And incidentally, if you remember back in 1971, the Central Intelligence Agency had Fort Detrick put together a swine flu that killed pigs. And they sprayed it all over Cuba, if you remember, and wiped out their swine.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah, that's right.
And so they've had this for a long time. They've got all kinds of things we don't know about for a long time.
Oh, yeah. We've got a 4-minute break, though, we do know about. And our guest today, Bob Chapman, who is editor of the International Forecaster newsletter. We'll be right back after this 4-minute break. Stay tuned.